Hello everybody, I'm W.H. Kraka and welcome to another video from me. Today's video is called Chances Are You're Not Gay. That's right, chances are you're not gay. In today's world, sexuality is it's just a grab bag of everything, isn't it? Particularly for today's youth. Again, coming from a middle-aged, white, Christian, Southerner, and a little bit educated individual over here in the South, I'll go ahead and preface and qualify my statements with that type of, that pedigree. Nonetheless, man, I think that the sexuality today is just kind of off the chain. I think a lot of people are confused about their particular sexuality. Now, if you're attracted to somebody of the same sex, does that make you gay? A lot of people think that's it, just hands down. Well, if there's that's attraction, then therefore they must be gay, and that's just not the case. You can feel physically close to somebody, you can feel affectionate without ever having done anything sexual with the person, and those feelings don't make you gay. Okay? And remember, I think the operative word is feelings. They don't make you gay. These feelings don't make you lesbian or bisexual. And they can be very confusing, to some individuals. I know some people are very confused about that. Some of the research out there shows that 3 to 5% of the people out there think they may be gay, lesbian, or bisexual. But again, I think a lot of that is because they can't sort out their own feelings or fantasies, I mean, they may have those events, those mental events and feelings, but those events or feelings don't necessarily define you. And that's where a lot of confusion is. As you know, sexual feelings are influenced by a lot of things: hormones, experiences. Sexual feelings aren't necessarily, as we know in certain other cultures, right? Sexual feelings aren't necessarily enduring. Man, I mean, if you look at a 50% divorce rate and some other things, that there's proof of that. So just because there's those issues doesn't mean that you actually love that person. I think as people get older, they can tell the difference between their sexual attraction and being really in love with somebody. And I think that waiting and getting a little bit older, and it gives your mind a chance to grow and get in sync with who you are and who you are created to be, so that you can then make more life-affirming choices. So sexual feelings are changeable, and they're not the best way to organize your life. I mean, I organize my life based more on facts rather than feelings. Man, if I organized my life based on feelings, I'd be in trouble. Road rage or anger or whatever, you base your life on your feelings, you become a slave. You become enslaved, oppressed, depressed, depressed. No, you become a slave. Now look, let's get real. Come on now. Some people say, well, I think I was born gay. I think I was born that way. You know what? You may feel that way once again, right? But there's a couple things. As far as you could remember, you were potty trained. Yeah, as far as you could remember, you could retain your feces. That said, is that what was that? That was early learning that took place before whatever, locus coeruleus, raphe nucleus, for those of you brain fans out there, before you could encode that into long-term memory, you already knew how to retain your feces. Long story short, you're potty trained. So, because as long as you could remember that you were potty trained, does that mean it was genetic? Answer: no. And I believe sometimes gender assignment, which is another issue in another show, but also sexual preference sometimes can be pretty well laced in there by the age of 2 years old. Sometimes when you have You have certain learning and certain affiliations and certain core identity elements that take place early on in a child's development. But hey, I'm just W.H. Cracker. I mean, look, NASCAR fan, knuckle dragger, watch the cars go in circles. I mean, what do I know? But go ahead and do your research and see what you think about that. Further, is this genetic? Well, the Center for Disease Control doesn't say it is. American Medical Association denies it. Even some of the pro-gay folks deny the genetic component because they don't want, certainly from a political stance, it's not good because then it looks like you have some sort of a defect or something different about you that you're gay genetically. And that's probably stigmatizing, and then there would be genetic, it's been pulled out of the diagnostic books, so it's no longer a form of pathology as it is as defined by the American Medical Association, not by Scripture per se. Scripture calls that stuff right on out, calls it out, but we're not. It's another show. It's not genetic. Okay, twin studies don't support it. You don't see even identical twins. I mean, that's the be-all, end-all of genetic proof. Don't see it. Even siblings, they share 50% of their genetic material, and it's just not there. The base rate's not there. Ideological studies don't support it. That's kind of interesting because it just shows you that at the end of the day, it's your choice. We are born with free will. We have free will to make choices. We choose this. We choose that. We may have certain feelings, maybe even certain proclivities. Some people that grow up and they over-identify with their mom, they're very feminine and all that stuff. That does not mean that they are gay. That means they're feminine. Okay, but that doesn't mean they're gay. So I think sometimes we confuse that. And man, we're quick to label these kids out there, man, they'll bully up and they'll say just anything. So there's no gay gene, nothing like that's been discovered. I don't have anything else I wanted to say about that. I think another element that we got to look at is pornography. A lot of these dudes and dudettes look at pornography. Well, if you're looking at sex acts on YouTube, certainly not my channel, but you're looking at sex acts and pornography 24/7, what's part of that? There's men and women in a lot of pornography. Well, guess what? Men are visual. I'm going to speak to men a little bit because, I know a little bit more about men, I think. There it is. I mean, you're getting basically a deviant arousal pattern. You're getting a deviant arousal pattern by looking at porn, pairing it with fantasy, and again, you see what I'm talking about. Some of you porn fans out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. You can get tricked up in that stuff, man, so fast. Next thing you know, you're conditioned to something else, and that's just wrong. You shouldn't be touching yourself. You shouldn't be doing that, man, because you're just flirting with disaster. I know it sounds old school. I know it sounds old school, but it is what it is. Anyway, the good news is, right, you can be attracted to somebody, you may have fleeting, or you may have feelings about that. You got to sort those things out. It doesn't define you. It doesn't mean you're gay. Alrighty then. Well, we'll keep this at 8 minutes. Man. Anyway, once again, the good news is you may just have a same-sex attraction, an SSA, but not be gay. So take a look at that if you think you have that problem. And, get some understanding, and sure there's Christian counseling and all those things, but we're not speaking to any of that at that level today. We're just saying, hey, look, put this in perspective. Take a good look at yourself. Check yourself, and go from there. All right, take care. Have a good day. Bye.